One evening, Elon Musk took his seat for dinner at a most famous restaurant in New York. It was a special night. Everyone around him admired him, respected him. But Musk, as always, felt privileged. So privileged that he saw everything around him as just his world. As one of the richest people in the world, whose name has been written about in books on entrepreneurship, innovation, and success, Musk felt like everything was his wherever he went. Tonight would be no different. But what Musk would encounter that night would reveal a truth that would completely shatter his long-held image as a big man. The restaurant was very luxurious and rich, and everyone who entered was glamorous in their status and dress. Chris, a young waiter, had been working in the restaurant for some time. He was usually calm and focused on his work. He didn't interact with people, but somehow later that night he would find himself in a very different situation. In the restaurant where he was a waiter at the time, in an environment where only the rich people stood out, Chris always felt a little bit behind. Elon Musk had a very cold demeanor as he watched the waiter approach him. Musk has always been someone who likes to put pressure on people. He had proven himself many times in the business world with his victories and creativity. But in this restaurant where he had come for dinner, what he was going to encounter that night was going to be completely against him. Chris was a little nervous as he approached Elon Musk's table. This was not a normal customer. This man was a household name all over the world. But Chris normally prefers to keep his distance because he doesn't know people very well. But when Musk approached him, it was clear from the cold and condescending look on his face that something was wrong. Musk smiled slightly as he looked at the waiter and began to speak. "Are you slow, or are you going to try a little harder?" It's hard to say that your job is being done very well at the moment. Chris was deeply hurt by Musk's words, but he didn't back down, because he argued that a human being deserves respect. Yes, maybe he was a waiter, but no one had the right to disrespect him. Without taking his eyes off Musk, he responded quietly and calmly. "Are you being so condescending for something you know to be true?" To me, any human being, no matter what they do, is valuable and deserves respect. Chris's response changed everything. Musk was silent for a moment, but then he realized the meaning behind what Chris had said. Chris wasn't just a waiter. He was the son of a figure with a very important history around the world. The waiter in front of Musk wasn't just serving his business. He was the son of a man who had made a big name for himself in the civil rights struggle, who had changed his own career and outlook on the world in a very different way. Chris continued, "My father is one of the pioneers of the civil rights movement. His fight for equal rights for people resonated not only in America but around the world. He taught me how important it is to respect people." Musk looked up after a moment's pause. It was then that he realized that the waiter before him was not just a worker, but a representative of a family that had made its mark on history. And Musk had made a big mistake over the years, using his wealth and power to arrogantly refer to them. Chris continued quietly, "Yes, I was going to have an important meeting with my father that evening, but tonight I am learning perhaps the most important lesson of my life. People have to respect other people." At that moment, the atmosphere in the restaurant changed. Musk began to feel the weight and depth of the waiter's words. He realized that the eyes of the people behind him were looking at him as if he had suffered a great defeat. A waiter was having to lecture him. But somehow this was one of the most important moments of his life. That evening, Elon Musk realized that the sense of superiority he had previously had was an illusion. You cannot measure a person's worth by material power or recognition alone. That evening, he learned the biggest lesson of his life. True value lies in respect and equality. Chris took one last look at Musk and said, "Treating everyone equally is the most important lesson of our lives. Not serving you is not a source of pride. Respect should be our most important value." And that evening, everyone in the restaurant learned an important lesson. Musk may be one of the most powerful people in the world, but one waiter had taught him the most important lesson of humanity: respect. Racism is one of the greatest shames in human history. Every individual deserves equal rights and respect, regardless of their ethnicity, color, or background. Excluding, belittling, or discriminating against people only sets societies back. We must all choose to live together peacefully, respecting others. Standing against racism is the most important step towards a more just and equal world.